Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 5 of the Rollout Show. I am your host, Weston Riddle, and I'm joined by my co-host.
What's up? I'm Bradley.
That's the best one you've had yet.
Thank
It was
you.
still,
Thank
it
you.
was still awful and complete terrible.
I didn't think it was that bad.
But it was still.
I thought I did okay.
I mean, it's not great, Bradley.
I'll try and do better next time.
Okay. Also, I'm accepting applications for a new co-host. If anybody would like to hit us up at the Rollout Show on Twitter, just find us at the Rollout Show.
That's messed up, dude. That is not nice.
Dude, I'm trying to market here. Gosh.
Sorry, sir.
Yeah, that's right. Better be sorry. Jeez. Trying to market here.
Wow.
Goodness.
Wow.
Just people.
Yeah, people.
Yeah. Human beings. So, anyway. Let's talk.
I think that may have been the worst intro we've done so far.
That is pretty bad. It started out okay, and then we had a ton of dead air there. That's my bad.
Yeah, you really lost the creative juices there halfway through.
I really did. I mean, the thought that popped into my mind was how much human beings sounds like human beans.
I'm glad you did.
I did,
roll with that joke.
I mean, it was slightly
That's
funny.
even worse than what we actually did.
That's right. I said human beings, and then I had like that 4 a.m. conversation with yourself kind of thought, where it's like, did you realize human beings sounds like human beans?
Oh my gosh.
Hey,
you disappoint me.
You have those 4 a.m. conversations. All of y'all have those 4 a.m. conversations with yourself.
Some of us are sleeping like normal working adults, Weston.
I'm a normal working adult.
Then why are you up at 4 a.m.?
I'm not up at 4 a.m. like now. I'm just saying like I have been in the past. And there's also these things called the weekend, Bradley.
If you're staying up till 4 a.m. on the weekend and you've got to be up at 6:30 a.m. on Monday morning, good luck to you. Maybe I'm just an old man.
You kind of are an old man.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah, like, I mean, come on. I mean, you're married, you got an apartment squared away, you got a full-time job.
I go to bed at like 9 p.m. every night.
Yeah, that's right. You go to bed at 9 p.m. every night. You wake up, you do your full-time job.
What happened to me?
I don't know. Hey, I feel the same way, though. So I was like, I used to be, up at, I mean, not anything spectacular, but I'd be at Starbucks at like 2:30 in the morning, just chilling and hanging out. And then all of a sudden, that's just gone. I'm not at Starbucks at 2:30 in the morning anymore. And like everybody else is like me, and we're at work at like 8. And then
it's that adult life.
It is. And I think all of us not being up so late, going to Starbucks single-handedly made our Starbucks not 24 hours anymore. And that is a sad thing. Because I needed that.
It's all your fault.
I needed that to fall back on, okay? What if I go into a different stage of life again?
I mean, they're only closed for like 2 hours, right? They're closed like 2 to 4
midnight to 4. I would go at 1, though. I mean...
Yeah, I would too.
I get the, like, 3:30 being closed. I mean, I have been there at 3:30 before. And that's not a pretty sight, like, to be honest. You see some sketch. Bradley.
Well, it's a good thing there's no sports going on or anything, that we can continue to ramble about nonsense.
Yeah, March is really the worst month for sports. It's really uninteresting. There's nothing going on.
Especially this weekend. I feel like there have been no games on to watch.
There really hasn't been anything to watch, and I mean, there's no reason for me to even have a TV on. Like, there's no baseball to watch, no basketball to watch. I mean, I guess there's soccer going on, but I'm not a big soccer guy. I'm trying, though. I'm trying to get more into soccer. But yeah, I mean...
I don't know, man.
It's really March sadness, March boringness. There's nothing really going on. Except for your bracket getting destroyed, Bradley.
Oh, God, what happened to me?
I told you were gonna lose.
Why?
Why did you pick Villanova? I told you.
It's not like I picked them to win it all. I picked them to go to the Elite Eight.
Bradley.
What the heck?
They've been successful
Nova.
1 year in the tournament.
They're
1
so
year.
good, though. They've got so much talent on that squad. What happened?
It would honestly take Villanova winning the title 3 years in a row for me to not still think of them as a choke artist. Like, no offense to Jay Wright,
If that's the case, then what's your opinion on me picking Gonzaga to make it to the Final Four?
Yeah, I have some blinders on occasionally when I make my picks, and sometimes the heart plays into it. So I have Gonzaga in the national championship game. So
No, I don't disagree with that. Last year was Nova's year. This year is Gonzaga's year.
I mean, they have to break through at some point, right? Like, you just have to stay ahead
I
of
don't
the
have them
curve.
winning it all, but I think they're going to make it to the Final Four.
Oh yeah, I have them losing too, but I mean, I thought they would at least make it there.
All right, while we're here, what are your Final Four?
My Final Four is Wisconsin versus Gonzaga, and Louisville versus
Okay.
UNC.
Wisconsin.
Yeah, Wisconsin. They're the team that got hot
have
at the
them
right
making it.
time. Bradley, Wisconsin and Michigan State are like those two teams that seems like historically make a run in the tournament.
Except last year I picked Michigan State to win it all, and you know what they did?
They lost.
They lost in the first round to Middle Tennessee.
Yeah, you know what? Middle Tennessee.
Now I'm sad.
Middle Tennessee did that again this year, okay? Middle Tennessee is that team, all right? They're that team.
I thought Michigan State was that team.
Well,
Your logic is really
no,
failing you
but
right
Bradley
now.
though, you have to like work in. I also picked Michigan State to go really far, but this year I was like, not feeling Michigan State, so I didn't pick them to go far. But Wisconsin is getting hot at the exact right time. I mean, this win that they got is gonna propel them. I mean, beating what most people thought was the number one team in the country. I mean, come on. You gotta buy into
All right,
the Badgers.
what's your national championship?
I have Gonzaga versus UNC, and UNC taking it home.
See, that's a pick I can get behind. I'm glad you didn't put Wisconsin in the Final Four. Or not in the Final Four, in the national championship.
I mean, what I was
That would have been a little ridiculous.
I mean, my gut feeling was going to be Gulf Coast versus Jacksonville State, but I mean, I talked myself out of that.
What's wrong with you?
It's a joke, Bradley, but I was high on Gulf
What?
Coast. I mean,
Oh
I picked with my heart Dunk City. I thought they were going to get it done. I mean, come on.
No, didn't work out.
They're one of those teams you just love to root for, man. I mean, the most underappreciated Florida school. I mean, no one thinks of Gulf Coast until they got good at basketball.
Are they good at basketball, though?
I mean, yeah, they keep making it to the tournament.
You know what? That's fair enough.
Like-
Because the University of Georgia does not do that.
Exactly.
Fair enough.
And what conference are they in? The SEC.
Let's just move along. So my Final Four is Duke, Gonzaga, Kansas, and UNC. And then I have Duke over Kansas in the national championship.
That's a bold pick.
The Kansas one I really thought about because Kansas is almost always a letdown, and UNC is playing as well as anybody in the country right now. But I don't know. Bill Self, every now and then he's got to pull through. I feel like this is a year he can make it. And Duke, the only year in recent memory that I did not pick Duke to win it all, other than last year I picked Michigan State. 2 years ago I picked Wisconsin over Duke in the national championship with Frank the Tank, and they let me down, and Duke won, and that was sad.
Oh, so
now
that's-
I'm gonna go with Duke.
So that's why you're acting like you are against my Badgers.
A little bit. I have a little. I let's just get it out there. If Duke had won that game, I would have won a pool that would have netted me a little bit of cash.
Cash money.
So I'm a little hurt by that, but that's okay. You know, I don't hold grudges. Frank the Tank, I hate you. But if you want to come on the show, that's at the Rollout Show. All right, that's all I got.
Hey, Frank the Tank. I'm a big, huge Frank fan. Huge Frank fan. I just realized what I said mid-sentence. Oh my gosh.
Just move on. Just move
Okay.
on.
But anyway,
Oh my, what's happening to
sorry.
this show?
I told you I was exhausted. Oh, anyway, but back to your whole Kansas point. Like, I'm not always the best at picking brackets, but there's some teams that I just have that kind of have a feel of, you know what I'm saying? How they historically do in the tournament. That's why whenever Kansas is a number 1 seed, I never pick them to go far because they always let down. It's when they're the underappreciated team that either has injuries early in the season but gets hot late. That's when they win it all. When they're like an 8 seed or something ridiculous. Like, but when Kansas,
Weren't they a number 1 seed the year that they beat Memphis?
I don't think so. I think they were like a 4 seed. Because it was one of the years where they got hot at the right time, and it was one of the years where nobody was picking Kansas because they didn't have as good of a year, I think. But they had like the most.
The year they beat Derrick Rose.
Yeah, but they had like the most talent, like one of the most talented rosters. You know?
Oh, they did. That team had Mario Chalmers on it, I believe.
Mario Chalmers.
I mean, he's no Derrick Rose.
I mean, Derrick Rose is no Derrick Rose anymore.
True.
True. Actually, it seems like Beasley may be the best of those players now that you think about it.
Which
it's crazy.
Let's not bring that up.
Hey, man.
Beasley has no right to be the better of those players.
You know what?
I don't think you can say that. I think the fact that Derrick Rose was at least a top 5 player for 5-ish years and won an MVP.
I'm just saying.
I don't think Beasley could ever surpass.
I'm just saying, present day. Of those 3, I may take Michael Beasley. He's having a good year, which is shocking because he's basically washed out of the league for like 4 years. Also, isn't it great how Bradley's headphones go out in the middle of my hot take? I mean, I lost my steam. Well, anyway, since Bradley's gone, how about we talk some baseball? Huh? How about that? So, I've been watching the World Baseball Classic, and I loved it, honestly. I've been loving it so far. And still unfortunate I had to sell my tickets, to the USA Dominican Republic game, but at least I made some cash. So that helped me out. I just still wasn't feeling well enough to be able to go down there for that. But one thing that's making me upset is San Diego. I always wanted to go out to San Diego. Looks like a very cool ballpark, and don't take this the wrong way, but some of those games are premier matchups, and you guys are not showing up for them. I mean, what are you doing? Venezuela versus Puerto Rico? Do you know how much star power is in that game? Like, how much star power? You have Miguel
I have
Cabrera.
no idea.
Yeah, Bradley, you don't have any idea. But you know what? You're gonna.
I have no idea.
You know what? You're gonna learn. And I don't know if
Thank you, sir.
I don't know if Kevin Hart has that trademark, so I didn't put the today on there. So anyway, but you're gonna learn. So, Team Venezuela has Jose Altuve, who, in my opinion, should have won MVP last year, but that's besides the point. Miguel Cabrera, who is basically in the MVP conversation every season and is a future Hall of Famer. Victor Martinez, who, borderline future Hall of Famer. And then it's just... Then you have Team Puerto Rico with the best catcher on the planet, Yadier Molina, who's playing like he's turned back the clock 10 years. Got Yadier Molina, Carlos Correa.
I thought he wasn't as good anymore. Is that not true?
It's not really true. I mean, he's showing his age a little bit, so like his defense, you'll see, is kind of a little lacking where it used to be. Where it used to be, hands down, he was the best catcher in baseball. Whereas this year he had a little bit of a down year throwing out base runners, but a lot of that was... The Cardinals' year was an anomaly where everybody was just terrible at defense this year. So I think that was kind of just something they didn't...
It's because they're trash.
Well, they tried to limit the injuries because the past 2 postseasons they've had injuries, and they're like, okay, well, we're going to tone it back in spring, and then we'll, kind of, just build into the season. And that plan backfired mightily this past season because it seemed like they didn't have enough defense drills, and everybody started off the season cold and never gained footing. So hopefully they fix that this year, but everybody's defense sucked last year. But anyway, Yadier Molina playing...
They probably won't, because it's a horrible organization.
Yeah, okay. Okay, Bradley, whatever. But
I don't know what I'm talking about, by the way, so don't listen to me.
Oh no, I already made that clear. I made it clear that you had gone out in the middle of my hot take, so I'm going to talk baseball. So, anyway, like, so much star power on these teams, and San Diego didn't show up. I mean, and also, living on the East Coast, it's terrible trying to stay up for these games. I know people on the West Coast have to deal with it like, oh, well, anything good comes on at 5 o'clock while I'm sitting in traffic. Like, I get that. Like, I've been out to the West Coast, the Western time zone. Like, I get it. But at the same time, a large section of the country is not going to be able to watch a game that starts at 10 o'clock and expect to be at work the next morning when the game doesn't
What
end
do you
until
think
2
the
a.m.
ideal start time for a primetime game is?
I mean,
On a weekday.
on a weekday, probably 7. I mean,
Really?
yeah.
No, I mean like for the whole country.
For the whole country.
So the West Coast is still going to be at work?
I mean,
I don't think that's the best.
I mean, maybe 8, but I mean, otherwise you're pushing it to 9, where, I mean, people on the East Coast aren't going to be able to stay up, and depending on what sport it is, even an 8 o'clock game, it's not getting over till midnight, and that's not really beneficial to the East Coast either. I mean, the Central and the...
I think 8 o'clock. I think 8 o'clock is about as good as you're going to do.
I mean, Central and Mountain Time basically always have it made, because no matter what, it's right in their comfort zone, so, like,
Yep.
But East and West Coast, I mean, it's kind of rough on both of us. It's either going to be too late for the East or way too early for the West. And honestly, depending on what sport it is or where you're located on the West Coast, it doesn't even matter if the start time's at 8 o'clock because most of the people are going to be sitting in traffic anyway. Like, I mean, some people will still be in traffic at 8 o'clock Pacific time. So
then they can just watch it on their phones.
Yeah, I mean, it's because there's no perfect solution. Because if you cater like strictly to the West Coast and it's like a perfect start time for them, which is what Major League Baseball does a lot of the time, or you see that with the NFL trying to do the Sunday afternoon games, accommodating the West Coast team and having it start at 4:25 when you're in Florida. If you're in Florida, at a certain point there's going to be a huge thunderstorm during the day, so you shouldn't have a start time at 4:25, otherwise the game is going to be delayed. Hashtag the Bucks' first 3 games last season.
You can't predict what time of day the thunderstorm's gonna come. What are you talking about?
Bradley, how long have you lived in Florida?
Long enough to know that it's always a potential to rain and thunderstorm. You can't predict what time of day it's gonna come.
It's always the late afternoon, Bradley.
No,
Bradley,
it's not.
Do not fight me on this.
Oh my god. How long have you lived in Florida?
9 years.
How long have I lived in Florida?
How old are you?
22.
I don't know about you, but I'm feeling 22.
That's why I kind of hesitated telling you.
I knew it.
No,
Marry me.
I mean, just the other day it thunderstormed overnight. Wasn't in the late afternoon. That's just recency bias. Don't be ridiculous.
Bradley.
I like having 4 o'clock games because then you start at 1 o'clock, the game ends, then you have a 4 o'clock game, the game ends, then you have the primetime game.
I have nothing.
What's the problem?
I have nothing against 4 o'clock games. I'm just saying if you're going to have a 4 o'clock game, it should not be in Florida.
Why?
Because
by that logic, you shouldn't have any games in Florida.
At 1 o'clock?
All right. I'm Googling this because you're being absurd.
I'm not being absurd. Everybody talked about
Google.com.
it. There were 3 games. The first 3 home games for the Bucks this year were against like West Coast teams or something.
I don't think 3 days are a good enough sample size there, buddy.
Bradley. Everybody.
When do thunderstorms
I'm not the only one.
happen
I'm not the
in
only one
Florida?
that talks about this. People
more than you can be wrong. It's okay.
Well, no. People like even on ESPN would be like, I mean, if you know anything about Central Florida, you don't have a start time at 4:25 because it's going to have a thunderstorm and you're going to have a lightning delay because you're in an open air stadium. Like, I mean, I'm not the
Those people are allowed to be wrong too. It's okay.
Bradley, I've been to a game at Raymond James Stadium, the stadium where the Bucks play, where there's been a lightning delay. Do you know how annoying that is? Like, I had to leave the game
You can't
early.
predict when that's gonna happen. What's wrong with you?
Bradley.
I'm sorry, your sample size of 1 says that it always thunderstorms at 4
It's
o'clock.
not a sample size of 1, Bradley. Okay?
Oh my god.
Bradley,
I'm
is
gonna-
there or is there
I'm gonna
not
fight
a
you
certain
right now.
time during the summer where you're like, you know what? And during this time window, there's probably going to be a thunderstorm.
There is not. Because it can happen anytime during the summer.
Yeah, it can, but most of the time it happens in the hours of the afternoon.
Oh my goodness.
This is true.
I'm going to fight you right now. You find me a source for this information, because so far I can't find it.
Oh, okay. Meaning you're wrong?
No. Meaning I can't find any information to back up what you're telling me.
Okay.
So bring me something.
As you hear my keyboard.
Slow down with the typing there, aggressive typer.
It's my keyboard on this beautiful new MacBook Pro. Gorgeous. But it does make a little bit of noise. Lightning delays NFL. Let's check that out. Oh, Giants-Dolphins game starts after delay due to weather. Oh, 56 minutes.
What are you... Yeah, thunderstorms happen in Florida.
September 25th, 2016. Rams-Buccaneers game was delayed at 2-minute warning because of lightning. Oh, no.
Oh, my God.
Oh, look. A report.
The argument... Weston.
Bradley, I'm trying
The
to
argument
have
is
here.
not... The argument is not that thunderstorms don't happen in Florida. The argument is thunderstorms can happen at any point in the day in Florida.
I think we're arguing about two different things here. But anyway, Jim Thomas, respected St. Louis sports writer, last time the Rams were in Tampa, September 14th, 2014, they had a game delayed for 50 minutes in the second quarter due to lightning in area. And you know what? I was at that game, and it was terrible because I didn't get to finish the game because I had to leave early.
Was that a 1 o'clock game or a 4 o'clock game?
I think it was a 4 o'clock game.
You think it was?
I don't remember exactly.
Or it was? Oh my God. You are the worst kind of person. You don't even remember what we're arguing about.
Yes, I do.
What are we arguing about?
We're arguing about start times for NFL games and how I say that, hey, you should maybe be more aware in Florida for some of those games.
What?
That if you know consistently that there's lightning delays during that time, then you may not should have a start time.
Exactly. You don't know that there's consistently lightning delays during 4 o'clock to 7 o'clock time window. You know that there's consistently lightning delays. You know that there are consistently lightning delays at any point in Florida during the summer. Yes, I agree with you there. But you can't say that 4 o'clock, that's when the thunderstorms come.
Actually,
no,
it's after
thunderstorms come at 1 o'clock too.
Yeah, I know that.
Now, if you were to say the logic is have a 1 o'clock game so that if there's a delay, it still will be over relatively early.
Yes.
Sure, but that's not what you're saying.
That's what I was implying. Yes, is that there should be...
What do you mean that's what you were implying? Then say it. No, it's not.
I said you shouldn't have them at 4:25 because of lightning delays, because there's a lot that were... Also, your mic is cutting out. Your mic is cutting out.
Oh, you're such an idiot.
No, I'm not. You never gave me the chance to fully explain what I was saying.
You talked for like 2 minutes.
Shut up, Bradley.
So much.
Shut up.
I'm so done.
Shut up.
You're
you
so
also
dumb.
said you can't predict when there's thunderstorms in Florida when you can feel it out. Gosh dang it, Bradley.
What are you... What?
Gosh dang it. Let's just move on.
When it's stormy looking and starts getting windy and cool, yeah, a thunderstorm's coming.
Yeah.
That happens about 15 minutes before it starts, not days.
I'm not saying it starts days.
Oh my God.
Just gosh dang it, okay?
You are so stupid.
I'm not stupid. The world's flat, check it out. Hashtag Channing Fry Podcast. Anyway.
Oh God.
Anyway.
I can't even think straight anymore. I'm so mad.
Gosh dang it.
So mad. I'm pretty sure I peaked my microphone somewhere in there. I'm going to have to go edit that out.
Yeah, no, you did. It was terrible. I was just like, I was having to shout. And then not only was I having to shout, you went like... And I was like, what the... I was like, your mic's cutting out.
God.
Your mic's cutting out. Stop getting so angry. Your mic's cutting out.
I'm so mad. Are we done yet?
So should we go back and talk about like what I was talking about before you went to like
what were you talking about?
The World Baseball Classic? Gosh dang it!
Oh yeah,
Can I finish my baseball point before you
please,
sidetrack me with your nonsense? Anyway,
with my nonsense.
Bradley,
Oh,
the host is
even.
speaking.
You know what? You're getting edited out. It's just gonna be me. Now who's the host?
I mean, technically, still me. I introduced the show, so
Not after the edit, you won't.
it's just gonna be, "What's up?"
I can record myself saying, "Hey, everybody, welcome to the Rollout Show."
Yeah,
I
but
can add a track.
But the question is, will you?
No,
Exactly.
no, I won't. I'm gonna click on your track and click mute all.
That's rough, man. But anyway, back to baseball. Good old baseball. Oh man. Anyway, it's just I don't know. Like, I get it, San Diego, but I mean, I know you turned out for the USA game. Like, that's awesome. In USA Puerto Rico, that was a huge crowd. Like, I get it. But I mean, come on. Like, you have to support the other teams too. I mean, even Miami showed up, and Miami is historically terrible at showing up for baseball games. Like, I mean, granted, a lot of the teams were from pretty close to Miami, like Dominican Republic, well, Team USA, obviously. Canada, that wasn't as big of a crowd because Canada had lost every game in the tournament. And then Team Colombia, there's a big Colombia contingent in South Florida. But, I mean, those games were just crazy, and they were popping. Like, it was great. Team USA felt like, they were road games because, a lot of the fans at the game were for representing the Dominican Republic. But it was still really cool. And then you see the games in San Diego, well, at least the ones that don't involve Team USA, and you're just like, what's going on? I mean, it looks empty.
Is the World Baseball Classic over yet?
No, it's in round 2. You have... I mean, it's set up kind of like a March Madness bracket, but, with less teams.
Right.
So, what you have is the pool in San Diego, which is like the semifinals. Or, no, it's round 2, excuse me. And the pool is Venezuela, Puerto Rico, USA, Dominican Republic. And Puerto Rico is undefeated and is basically, they're going to Los Angeles for the finals. Semifinals and finals. Well, potentially. But they're going on to Los Angeles, which is semifinals and the finals. And you have Team USA, which has 1 win and 1 loss. You have Venezuela with 2 losses, but they're not technically eliminated yet. And then you have Dominican Republic with 1 win and 1 loss. So basically tonight's game, which starts at 10 o'clock, and I have to be up super early in the morning, is a rematch of what happened in Miami, Team USA versus Dominican Republic, in which Team USA blew the game in the 8th inning.
I actually watched that game.
That's right.
Are you proud of me?
I am proud of you, and you were over at my house.
I was, and you coached me through
I
it.
did.
Told me what was happening. I enjoyed it. It was a good game.
And Andrew Miller was not on that day.
He was trash. It looked like he hadn't pitched yet from the offseason.
That's honestly what it looked like. But, I mean, past couple games he's been in, he's looked good, though. So, that's a positive sign.
Is he still on the Indians?
Yeah. That's why...
yeah, that's good for them then.
Yeah, he's got 2 years left, I think, on his deal. So, and he's pretty affordable, actually, so that's really good for them. But, I mean, I don't know, it's just... It seems like the World Baseball Classic was gaining steam, having big crowds, and then you just get out there and it's like, no. I don't know. Hopefully people show up in Los Angeles, too, for the finals. And selfishly, I'm rooting for Team USA, because I want Team USA.
They should have just done the finals in Miami. That crowd was awesome.
Right? Oh my gosh, that was ridiculous. I mean, I guess they wanted for, like, the, Team Japan and everything, just... I guess when you look at it worldwide, it's a more central location.
I guess that's fair.
But I don't know. It would have been cool in Miami though, because I mean those crowds were ridiculous. But
you done with your rant yet?
Yeah, I guess so. I was losing steam there.
Can we stop talking about baseball?
Yeah, we'll pick
please?
it up later. I mean, especially with our fantasy football preview. I mean,
you mean fantasy baseball
yeah.
preview?
I've been speaking a lot this past week. I announced a baseball tournament. And
Ooh,
my words have just...
Hot shot.
Whatever. My words were just all mixed up. I mean, today when I was announcing the game today, I started saying designated hitter when it was the second baseman hitting, so I said designated second baseman.
Good
I put
job.
my face to the I put my head on the desk, and everybody else was like laughing at me. And
They all thought you were an idiot.
I mean, technically, I'm not wrong because there's one second baseman on each team, and he's the designated second baseman. So technically, I'm not wrong. It's just not usually how you say that.
No, you're wrong. You're wrong.
No, it's okay. People who understand baseball said, hey, you know what? Technically, you're not wrong. So, thanks, baseball community. Thank you. Anyway.
Can we not talk about baseball anymore?
Yeah, that's fine.
Can we talk about football, America's real pastime?
It'd be more like America's present time, but sure, whatever.
That's fair.
Yeah, exact. Thank you. Because baseball is America's pastime. That's no debating. This was a baseball country for a very long time.
Who cares? Who cares?
You know what people care?
Old people?
The millions of baseball fans?
Meh.
Whatever.
Who cares? Who cares?
You're just jealous you didn't grow up around baseball.
Hey, I played t-ball when I was 5.
Ooh, hot shot.
Yeah, I know. I stopped because I kept hitting the tee and the ball would roll off, and I'd count that as a hit.
I was good at t-ball.
I wasn't. I couldn't hit the ball.
I was shortstop. I was over there making plays, son.
I still can't hit a baseball.
You can't.
Or a softball. Or anything.
You can't throw a baseball very well.
No.
You got better, though.
Not really.
When we were out there throwing the ball around, you got a lot better, though. I will give you credit. But you were...
Baseball would not have been my natural calling.
You were super surprised at how far I could throw a baseball.
You got a good arm, man.
Thank you.
You got a good arm. You can't throw a football very far, but that baseball, you could sling it.
Hey, I can sling a football if we're playing with a short field.
That doesn't count.
Hey, man, you know what? I'm accurate and got a good spiral. I just don't have a lot of distance.
Speaking of people who need short fields, how about Eddie Lacy signing with the Seahawks?
Hashtag...
Like what I did there, because he's fat and he can't run very far, so he needs a short field. Get it? Get it?
I didn't think it was that
Do you
funny.
get it?
I chose to ignore it.
Well, I mean, I prompted you like 8 times for a transition and you never made it, so I figured I'd just do it for you.
Hey, good job. But, I mean, we just kept going down this baseball path, and I was like, hey, I'm enjoying this, so we're just going to keep it rolling.
This isn't one of our better shows.
No, it's not.
I hope you're proud of yourself.
I warned you. I warned you beforehand.
Look, just power through.
We're gonna
power.
We're gonna get some content, okay? We may have a lot of editing to do, and by we I mean you. But you know, we're gonna get there.
Thanks.
We're gonna get there. We can piece it together, but there's some comedic parts that are gonna be okay. They're gonna be pretty good. And yeah. But no, I love the Eddie Lacy signing in Seattle.
I don't.
Why not?
I wanted him to re-sign with the Packers.
Well, I wouldn't mind seeing that too, because I know Eddie Lacy seemed to love it there, and it was a good situation for him. But I think the Seahawks were about the second best choice he could have made outside like staying in Green Bay. Because I mean, he's still going to compete for a title, which is what he wants.
No, I like it for him. I'm curious if this spells doom for Rawls. I know Rawls has had some health issues, but when he's healthy, he's a way better all-around running back than Eddie Lacy.
Oh,
because Eddie Lacy,
I don't agree with that. I think when Eddie Lacy's healthy, he's a much better running back than Thomas Rawls.
I don't know, man. They're bringing back fat Eddie Lacy. You saw him.
Well, yeah, but I mean, when he's healthy and in shape, which he has the incentives in his contract to be more in shape, I mean, he was a beast.
Well, he has the incentives in his contract to weigh more.
Yeah, well, that's true. But I mean, that's what they want him playing as, and he's still really, really good. Like, at least Eddie Lacy can catch the ball. Thomas Rawls isn't a good,
Thomas Rawls is just as good as Eddie Lacy, if not better, out of the backfield.
No, I don't agree with that at all. Not from what I saw.
I think we have differing opinions of Thomas Rawls.
I think
I
we
think
do,
I went a
too.
little too strong.
You did.
I do
'Cause
think I went a little too strong.
Do you remember Eddie Lacy before
I
out of
do.
shape and injured Eddie Lacy?
Look, there's a reason I wanted him to re-sign with the Packers.
Exactly.
I think I went too strong.
You went a little
there.
too strong.
You know what? I'll retract that statement. My bad, Eddie
Good.
Lacy.
Thank you.
My bad.
Owe him his due. If not, he'd get Big Al on you.
Bring it.
You can't take Big Al.
No, I can't.
Neither can Uga.
Uga can do anything. He's been to the Heisman Trophy ceremony. He can do anything.
So's Big Al.
I mean, not the current Uga, one that's been dead for like 20 years now.
He come back and haunt.
But I mean, it's a mascot, so they're sort of all the same, right?
Big Al was there.
No?
No, they're kind of the same. Just different reincarnations.
1982?
Man, that's a long time ago.
You're telling me.
That's like way before we were born.
It's the NCAA's fault. Todd Gurley should have won it in 2014, and the NCAA took it away from him.
Who even won it in
Suspended him for
2014?
no valid reason.
Bradley.
Poor guy was just trying to make a buck.
Bradley. This is AJ Green all over again. Your Georgia bias is coming out.
AJ Green didn't deserve to get suspended 4 games for selling a jersey.
I mean,
The NCAA's corrupt.
I mean, I do agree with you there. If, Johnny Manziel got a half against Rice and AJ Green got 4 games.
See, that's
and
what I'm
Johnny
saying.
Manziel did was much worse, in my opinion, than what AJ Green did. And then you have Terrell
AJ
Pryor.
Green sold a jersey.
Terrell Pryor buying like a $50,000 car for $10,000, and you just said, "Hey, I got a good deal at the dealership." Like, okay.
See, and Todd Gurley only made $200.
Hey,
Whatever. Got suspended like 4 games.
you know what?
Came back and got hurt.
You know what? Georgia needs a fixer, man. I mean,
Now Nick Chubb sucks. Man,
you were so high on Nick Chubb too. You thought
he was a beast.
every running
He was
back
a beast
Georgia could
until he
crap
got hurt.
out would be just an all-star.
He was.
No, he was really, really good.
Nick Chubb until he tore his LCL last year. I think that's the one he tore. I don't
Yeah.
remember. Maybe it's PCL. Actually, LCL. I don't know if that exists.
I think it
I don't
does.
know what I'm talking about. It's the one, not the ACL or the MCL. The other one.
Yeah,
Until he tore that, he was top 3 running back in the country. And this
Hey.
last year, I don't know, man.
I think what really, because he played well the first few games, but it was against Alabama.
it was a lack of competition.
Yeah, it's once he faced
I mean,
Alabama.
he went buck wild against North Carolina, but North Carolina's defense just
It wasn't.
couldn't handle the
yeah.
O-line. The O-line played a great game. He looked slow, man.
He really did. I mean, because he wasn't.
I'm
Always,
hoping for a bounce back year since he didn't go to the NFL. I'm hoping for a bounce back year for his sake. Because if not, he lost out on a lot of money because of that injury.
He did. I mean, that's how it goes for some guys. But hopefully, he'll strengthen up a little bit. But he did kind of seem like a shell of himself because he never was like super quick. But
he had good top end speed.
yeah,
He could, once he broke it outside, he could take it to the touchdown. And this year, he looked like Fat Eddie Lacy.
I mean, honestly, I was thinking that he looked like Fat Eddie Lacy, like a shell of himself, like something wasn't there, like the engine was a little slow. That's exactly what he looked like to me.
Yeah, pretty much. Dude, how about the Patriots being all kinds of unpredictable and signing Dante Hightower to a big deal?
Honestly, I'm thinking like everybody just gives the Patriots the benefit of the doubt, which I mean, honestly, they deserve. But
They absolutely
no,
deserve.
yeah.
Why wouldn't you?
I'm just not saying that they're going to be like every move is going to work out. I mean, there comes a time where a team that has been historically good at making moves and transactions that they just don't work out. I mean, even with the Patriots,
But we don't know if their moves are bad or not, though.
Well, it depends.
It's a little early to judge.
Exactly, but I'm just saying, like, maybe looking into the future, I'm saying we should look at these with a little bit of a grain of salt and not just be like, oh, it's Belichick, so it's going to work out. But I'm being a little more cautious.
But at this point, you kind of have to.
I'm just saying I'm being a little more cautious because every dynasty has the end of the road. I mean, it doesn't go on forever. I mean, it's true. As much as we...
But this has been going on for over a decade.
I know, Bradley, but it doesn't go on forever.
Yeah, when Belichick retires, it'll stop.
I mean, look at college coaches. You can even look at NFL coaches. The great ones, if they stick around like too long or something, eventually they'll have a little bit of a lull. And you even saw that a little bit with the Patriots.
Oh yeah, they didn't win a title between what was it, 2015 and 2005 or something?
Exactly, yeah. I mean, but they were consistently getting to the playoffs, and then they get to
and making it to the AFC Championship game.
Yeah, and then they get to the Super Bowl against the Giants, and the Giants would just beat them. But I mean, that's the thing, like.
But basically, the confusion with them this offseason is you pay Dante Hightower, but for some reason you're unwilling to pay Malcolm Butler, which is why they want to get rid of him.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
I have to give them the benefit of the doubt, though, that Dante Hightower is a worthy player to get paid at that position, and Stephon Gilmore is a worthy player to get paid at that position, but Malcolm Butler isn't. I don't know.
Honestly, like,
it's hard not to give them the benefit of the doubt.
The thing, I agree with the Hightower win, and I like Stephon Gilmore, but at that money, and then after what they'd already told Malcolm Butler, that they would never pay a corner that much money, so you're not getting that much, and then you go out and sign Stephon Gilmore, who rated as the 65th best corner in football last year.
They have to see something in him. Because to me, I'd rather have Malcolm Butler than Stephon Gilmore.
Oh, absolutely.
They have to see something in him that the rest of us aren't seeing. And that's where the benefit of the doubt has to come in. Like, you're going to tell Bill Belichick he doesn't know what he's doing? He's the greatest NFL coach of all time.
And I'm not even saying that, because for all I know, it's going to work out. My thing is...
Oh, I wasn't directing that towards you specifically.
Okay, true.
I meant in general.
Sorry. No, you're good. It's just, I'm being a little bit more cautious compared to everybody that seems to be out there and is going like, oh, well, it's just going to work out. I mean, they still may be good, but you have to look at the Amendola contract. I mean, they've been winning with him, but he hasn't really been productive.
Well, and that was one sort of made out of desperation because they weren't sure if Edelman was ever going to be the player he turned into.
Yeah, and you have to look at that.
They had just lost Wes Welker, and they needed someone to fill that role, and little did they know Edelman's a beast.
And I'm honestly surprised Amendola's still on that team, to be honest with you. But, I mean, because a 6-year deal...
Did he ever restructure?
I don't think so.
There's no way he's making a huge sack of cash right now.
And, I mean, I was happy for him getting that huge sack of cash because he deserved it.
He's a great player when he's on the field.
Yeah, it's the thing, when he's on the field. I mean...
Yep.
It's... I have mad respect for him. I'm glad he's been winning up there, and he did get his paycheck. But it's just the thing, like, that move didn't pan out how they wanted it to, and they tied up a lot of money into him. So he must have restructured, and I just hadn't heard about it. If not, they're just really not paying anybody else,
except for Stephon Gilmore and Dante Hightower.
That's the thing. It's just so random because they don't seem to pay big money to anybody outside of Brady.
And they don't even pay Brady that much. They would if he asked for it, but he doesn't.
Yeah, he keeps restructuring anyway. He got the big money up front, and then he restructured to free up some space.
That's how you do it if you want to win a championship.
Hey, but of the Patriots' moves, though, I really do like the Brandon Cooks thing because that gives them a bona fide number one that takes the top off the defense. I don't know if Brady has the best deep ball anymore, as we both talked.
That's going to be the question.
Yeah, because, I mean, as we both talked, like, in the Super Bowl, that was not one of his best games. We were both sitting there looking like, wow, why does Brady look terrible?
He looked like trash the whole game.
He did. And some of the things, like some of the passes he was making, it was just like, well, the Edelman catch for one, which I'm still so upset that Julio Jones catch is never going to be remembered, and it's probably the greatest catch I've ever seen.
That Julio Jones catch was so amazing. Oh, God.
Screw you, Kyle Shanahan.
And nobody remembers it. Nobody remembers it. It was
just me.
I think it was more incredible than the Odell catch.
I agree.
It was the most amazing catch, just because, maybe not athletically, but in the moment, it was the most impressive catch I've ever seen.
And considering he's playing with half a foot, to have that kind of footwork, it's beautiful. Like, if I just have that poster on my wall,
I'm surprised you haven't done that yet.
Honestly, I'm going to get on that now that I mentioned that. I'm going to have it right next to the Taylor Swift calendar.
Have there been any other huge moves this week? It's kind of been quiet relative to what it was before our last show.
It has been relatively quiet. The main thing is the Malcolm Butler to the Saints thing, which I think is gonna happen. And seeing the relationship between Sean Payton and Belichick, I feel like that's basically a done deal. I think the Brandon Cooks move was a precursor to what is going to happen with Butler, and they're going to work out some kind of under the table sign and trade thing that the NFL isn't going to like, but within the rules, they're going to make it work because there's nothing that explicitly says you can't do that. So I think
And the Patriots love the gray area.
Oh, they do. And I mean, the Saints kind of are that team as well. So I think honestly what's going to happen is they're going to send 32 back to the Patriots, sign Malcolm Butler, and then trade him to the Saints, and then maybe get another little piece out of it or something, you know?
I could see that happening.
Yeah, because, I mean, I think we were both surprised at how much the Patriots gave up for Brandon Cooks. So I think there's going to be some
It's just another one of those gotta give Bill Belichick the benefit of the doubt things.
Yeah, and a lot of people I saw were saying that, oh, you know, they're going to trade 11 to the Patriots. Honestly, I don't see them trading pick number 11 for Malcolm Butler when they could draft one of the top corners. Like, I can see...
Unless it's like, this is really a part of the last trade.
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
Exactly, which I don't see that happening. I think it's like they may throw in a future pick or something, but I think the Patriots want Malcolm Butler out of there because apparently they really don't value him as much as they value Stephon Gilmore. So,
which is crazy to me, but hey,
he was rated as the number 8 corner in football, and they ended up paying the guy who was number 65.
By who? Pro Football Focus?
Yeah. Number 8. And
they do a good job too.
They really do.
I usually trust their information.
Shout out to Pro Football Focus. But
if you want to come on the show, that's at the Rollout Show.
Rollout Show, we are looking for guests, especially for weeks like this week when, you know, we just have March Madness.
We got nothing to talk about. I mean, yeah, there have been March Madness upsets, whatever. I don't know. Nothing's happened in NFL free agency. Nobody cares about the World Baseball Classic.
Hey, now.
NBA regular season is still going on, so who cares?
I wouldn't have made that healthy of a profit on my tickets if nobody cared about the World Baseball Classic.
Ooh, you did talk about that last show. Did you make a little bit of cash?
I did make a little bit of cash. I was talking about that when you were out. I didn't say how much cash, but I made like roughly $700 on my tickets.
I like it.
And
I like it.
Honestly, like I sold them like day of and made that much money. So yeah, but that was so stressful because I mean, we're like 4 hours away from Miami. So if those tickets hadn't sold, I was going to have to like try to book it in the car and try to get down there for that thing, which I knew I wasn't well enough to do, but I also wasn't going to...
I bet you could have made it in 2.5 hours.
I mean, maybe. It all depends on what the traffic was like on the turnpike, because if there was anything that happened on the turnpike, I would have been screwed. So, I mean, that thing cuts through the middle of freaking nowhere. There's no way out once you're on that turnpike. Until you get to South Florida, you're stuck.
Wow. This has been a horrible show.
It really has. Like, I mean...
I hope you're proud of yourself.
I'm talking about traffic and how to get to Miami. Also, like, we're giving away basically where we live.
Yeah, you know what? How about we just end the show for tonight?
Is there anything else you want to talk about?
I mean, there's nothing going on. It's a slow week, man. I really don't feel like talking about March Madness any more than we have.
Yeah,
I mean, there's upsets. Nobody watches basketball regular season, so we all filled out our brackets randomly. We all knew Nova was probably pretty good, so them losing was surprising.
Not to me, but
I picked SMU to go pretty far.
I did as well,
because I heard on the radio they were pretty good, and then they lost. So that's one thing that happened.
I mean, at least they lost by 1 point, and it was to USC, who's got Andy Enfield, who was, he created Dunk City. So,
I mean, I've probably only watched like 4 or 5 college basketball games this year, and so I've only seen a few teams. I've seen Duke; they're pretty good, so I picked them to win it all, and that's my logic.
Basically, I saw
There.
North Carolina, so that's why I was gonna pick UNC.
None of us know what we're talking about.
I mean, honestly, that's
I have
the
no
thing.
idea.
And honestly, me and you are both better at talking about transactions and things. So like the college basketball analysis, since we hadn't been like glued in or a former, college basketball coach, I mean, we can give our takes on it. Like I said, I didn't really think Nova was going to go far. I thought last year was an anomaly because they're usually an underachieving team, and that's kind of how I look at things. So I thought Wisconsin was going to get them because Wisconsin had been playing really good basketball, and they were that sneaky team.
But let's be honest, we don't know.
Oh, nobody knows.
I mean, other than college football, all we watch are professional sports. That's all we care about. I mean, March Madness is cool. I like watching all the games. They're fun because you have someone to root for because of your bracket. You can win a little bit of money. But other than that, I mean, who cares? Just bring on football season.
Well, I mean, I care
and
about
the NBA playoffs.
Well, and also baseball season, which
Well, yeah, since I'm in fantasy, I'll probably care about that this
sure
year.
you will.
But other than that, I mean, Final Four will be cool.
Yeah, no,
I'll watch it.
I'm looking forward to that. It's like you're talking about. I mean, even the guys who are on the major networks talking about, none of them know. None of us know.
They don't know.
We can give
Seth Greenberg was on the show and he was talking about how his daughter picked randomly and picked all the right picks for the first round. I mean, what is this?
Well, there was a girl on like the pop station I listened to, actually at the morning mashup, giving you guys a shout out. Nicole, you can come on the show if you want to at the Rollout show. But she was talking about how she won her bracket pool last year because she picked based on colors she liked. Like, she did, and she won.
It's just too crazy. I mean, who would have seen Florida State just now? And we're time-stamping this recording, but that's okay. Florida State losing by almost 30 points to Xavier. Who would have seen that coming? I didn't. Obviously, none of the experts did, because I've never heard say anything about Xavier.
Oh, yeah.
The only team people have talked about are like Wichita State, Rhode Island a little bit. Other than that, I mean, no one saw this coming. Nobody knows.
And I'm like the one person that's on the Wisconsin bandwagon. Like, I mean, come on. People, support your Badgers.
You're on your own.
I'm on my island over here, and I am going to live.
Nobody likes the Badgers.
I'm going to... You know, likes the Badgers?
Green Bay, Wisconsin?
Yeah. They do.
Aaron Rodgers probably likes the Badgers.
Him and Olivia Munn have gone to games, so I don't want to... He actually addressed the
My
team
man
last
crush.
year. He addressed the team at the Final Four last year. Gave them like a pump-up speech. So...
Hey, he's my man crush.
He is.
Don't you talk bad about him.
You're the one talking bad about him.
I would never.
All right, tell him you love him.
You're my hero.
Hey, Olivia. Your boyfriend's awesome. All right. But
please just end this.
Okay.
Please. I'm begging you. Put us out of our misery.
Hashtag Kwai for MVP.
You know what? Do we need to get into that?
Let's go for it.
All
we
right,
might could
please
salvage
state your
this
case.
wreckage of a show that we've done.
State your case.
Okay. So, can anybody give some respect to Kwai?
I can.
He's basically the best two-way player on the floor, not named LeBron James.
Agreed.
And so...
Maybe including LeBron James.
I would say including LeBron James.
Juicy hot
I'm
takes.
thinking he's getting there. Honestly, because you know how
He's getting
for
there.
years and years everybody's like, oh, Anthony Davis is going to be the next LeBron
Nope.
James, going to win
Kawhi.
like 7 MVPs. No, that's Kawhi Leonard, people.
Agreed.
You better focus now. Listen to me. Look me in the eyes.
Focus up.
Look at me in the eyes, even though this is an audio show.
Imagine eyeballs.
Let's touch ears here, okay?
That's hot.
I know, right? Anyway, let's touch ears here. Get on the Kawhi bandwagon now. Okay, he's coming. He's going to wreck the NBA with his quiet, unemotionless face. Where he's...
With his 97 Tahoe.
His 97 Tahoe and his pockets full of coupons for chicken wings. Okay? He's gonna do it.
No, but there's 4 legitimate candidates to MVP, I think.
Oh,
You
if
got
not
Russell
5.
Westbrook, James Harden, LeBron James, and Kawhi Leonard. Who would you put 5th?
John Wall.
No, I wouldn't.
You wouldn't put John Wall? John Wall belongs in the conversation
No.
for sure.
I don't think so.
Why not?
He's having a good year. I don't even think this is his best year in the league. He's not playing incredibly well.
He's averaging career highs. Like, he's having career highs in every category.
What are his stats? Do you have them handy? You probably don't. I'm sorry I asked you that. Just forget that question.
Yeah.
Anyway, no, I don't think John Wall is on the same level right now. Not this season. You have LeBron James, best player on the planet. He should be in the discussion every year.
Oh, absolutely.
You have Russell Westbrook is putting up stats that we haven't seen since the game was much, much easier when Oscar Robertson played, even though he wouldn't agree with that statement.
Well, of course he wouldn't, because that diminishes everything he did.
Right, but it's true.
Oh, yeah.
Oscar Robertson, if you played in today's NBA, you wouldn't make the All-Star team.
Nope. Not at all. Sorry, bud.
Hashtag truth hurts. But I wouldn't vote for Russell Westbrook because he's incredibly inefficient. Even though he's awesome to watch, he's an athletic freak and he never gets tired. He's too much of a ball hog, and he's not good enough offensively to be like that. Kobe could get away with it because Kobe's one of the 10 best offensive players to ever live. Russell Westbrook isn't that. Russell Westbrook can't get away with it. He's too inefficient. James Harden, putting up almost the same numbers as Russell Westbrook, and his team's better. My problem with James Harden is he doesn't play defense. LeBron James, best player in the world, but he sits out too much. And I don't know, I feel like he has the second most talented team in the league around him, other than Golden State.
Yeah.
Which leaves you with Kawhi Leonard, who is carrying a team with a struggling LaMarcus Aldridge, with
an ancient Pau Gasol,
aging veterans, aging Tony Parker, Patty Mills is starting at point guard. That team has become Kawhi Leonard's team, and
as it should be.
He's the best defensive player in basketball.
The silent
and he's
assassin.
Averaging 26 points a game. Kawhi Leonard should win MVP.
That should be his nickname, though. The silent assassin. Because there's just, he can just take over a game single-handedly.
He's incredible, and he does it in the least flashy way imaginable.
I mean, is there anybody more humble in the NBA than Kawhi Leonard? I mean,
there's no one more humble in sports than Kawhi Leonard.
I mean, it's just
he's incredible.
He sits there and lets his play do the talking, which, I mean, may cost him the MVP because, he doesn't talk as much, but it's that's just great to see, honestly.
Oh, he's not going to win the MVP. The MVP is going to be either Russell Westbrook or James Harden. And I'm starting to see more and more people lean towards James Harden.
All the players are leaning towards Harden.
He doesn't play defense, man.
I mean, Bradley...
He doesn't even try.
He won the players' vote over Steph. I mean, that...
Which, granted, that wasn't Steph's best year. It's not like he won it last year over Steph from the players.
No, he didn't.
But he's awesome on offense. And this year, he's become a true point guard. He's a great distributor, unlike Russell Westbrook. He is awesome on offense. But it's not even that he's bad at defense. I mean, you can have guys that are average or worse at defense and still be respectable. See Steph Curry, because Steph Curry tries. James Harden literally lets people go by him.
But there's other people have won the MVP and done that. It's not really a defensive award.
Oh, I agree with that. I don't think that's right.
Well, I mean, I don't either, but that's just the world we live in.
And I think it's usually factored in, but you're right. It's 95% offensive play.
I mean, that's what
I'm
the
curious
Defensive
to
Player of the
see
Year awards
the
for,
percentage. I'm curious to see but there's an offensive player of the year too.
But yeah,
Anyway,
I mean, it's just like football. I mean,
football, it's the quarterback and running back award, just like the Heisman.
and
I
it's
understand that.
90%
You
of the
give it to
time
the flashy
quarterback
position.
award. Like,
you give it to the players who can fill the stat sheet, which is why it's going to either go to Russell Westbrook or James Harden. But that doesn't mean I think it's right. I mean, it used to not be that way. Bill Russell won the MVP over Wilt Chamberlain, who averaged 50 points a game, and Oscar Robertson, who averaged a triple-double. Because back then, winning was the most important thing, and that team was the first team to ever win 60 games.
Exactly. Well, that's why he won.
But I mean,
Different
but
NBA.
that's also not a fair comparison, because by that logic, Kevin Durant should win MVP, and I don't think he should be in the discussion.
I don't either. I mean, the injury basically took him out of the discussion anyway, so.
Yeah.
But to go back to the point I made about John Wall, he is having career highs in every category I see here, except for blocks, where he is 0.2 off of his last year's career high.
I just don't think he's playing on the same level right now. I could be wrong. I don't keep up with the Wizards as much as other teams, but I feel like,
because I mean, they're the 2 seed.
You put him next to James Harden and Russell Westbrook, and what is he doing?
They're the 2 seed right now, though. I mean, they're basically the team that would have any chance of beating the Cavs right now. I mean, unless, depending on how Kyle Lowry comes back.
Kyle Lowry,
it's either
agreed.
It's either the Rockets, not the Rockets, either the Raptors or the Wizards. I mean, the Celtics, they had their run, but even Brad Stevens has basically admitted that they don't stand a chance against the Cavaliers. He's like, yeah,
they just don't have the talent.
They don't. And he's like, we've won so many close games, and you have to expect some regression to the mean. And, I mean, he's basically, without going out and saying, oh, yeah, we have no shot this year, he's basically saying, this isn't a title contending team. I mean, we've been very fortunate, and, I mean, they may be soon, but you have to wonder, like, whether their time's going to run out. The window isn't open forever. You can't just stockpile assets. I mean, you can only have so many draft and stash guys before they're going to want to come over to the States, and then at that point you're going to have to cut somebody anyway, so you might as well trade them for a star, right?
Yeah, we talked about this a couple shows ago. I don't understand why they didn't pull the trigger on some of those deals and get Paul George or Jimmy Butler, but anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, I feel like we salvaged the show a little bit.
We salvaged it a little bit. I'm still going to promote it as the worst show we've had yet, but, hey, maybe that'll help people out. Get them on board, right?
Maybe if they're like, wow, this is so good. If this is the worst, I wonder what else is out there.
Exactly.
And they'll listen to some of the older shows.
I mean, or I could just say this is episode 5, but please listen to episode 4. It's much better.
It really was. Any episode where we argue is way better. Although we did argue in this one, it was something so ridiculous. I'm kind of embarrassed about how dumb my host is.
I blame your mic cutting out. Or, no, your headphones, excuse me. We were rolling. We were rolling there for a little bit. We were picking up steam, and then...
Yeah, I don't know what happened. They just stopped producing sound, so that's probably not good.
Were they Windows? Please edit that out.
No.
That was a bad joke.
That wasn't even close to a good joke. Windows doesn't make headphones.
I mean, they do. They have their own headphones. That comes with their products. Or do they not?
No, they don't.
Like, you don't get headphones with like the Windows phone? Or like the tablets or something?
No.
I mean, wow, I thought they were trying to copy Apple, but they clearly didn't well enough.
No, you're thinking of Samsung, my friend.
Well, I mean, Windows is too. I mean, they have the Windows Store that's set up basically just like the Samsung and Apple stores, but with a little different shade of gray.
Please, for the love of God, end this show.
So now we're going to get into how clean are our lakes.
Thank you for watching the Rollout Show and listening and all that stuff. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Rollout Show. We're going to be much better next week. I promise.
My host is horrible. If anyone wants to come host this show with me, please let me know.
Hey,
I could use a better
hit
host.
us up at the Rollout show. I'm looking for a new co-host. Also, I'm really hoping we can get somebody on the program, like all the people we've trashed so far. That'd be nice to get you on.
We're looking at you, Kirk Cousins. Or Blake Bortles.
I actually defended both of you. And, oh yeah, thanks for bringing up Blake Bortles. You were wrong, and the people spoke, Bradley. The people spoke in overwhelming numbers. So I know you were the one dissenting vote. That Blake Bortles was not trash.
How many people voted for each?
It was 8 for me and 1 for your side.
Why did you tell all of your friends to vote in that poll?
I didn't even tell anybody. I just retweeted it.
That's nonsense.
Honestly, I didn't tell any.
Nonsense.
I didn't tell any of I didn't go.
Blake Bortles is trash.
Bradley, we were gonna let the poll.
Book it.
That's my line, okay? That I stole from somebody
Book
else
it.
because I kind of like to make fun of them, and they used to be one of my boys.
Skip Bayless.
I used to love Skip back in the old school first take days. I mean,
yeah, man, he was great.
Before he just went too far afield, where it's just like you're trying too hard, and then now it's more fun to just make fun of him. But I still,
yeah, I can agree with that.
I still have respect for him because I think deep down he's still the guy that he was like during the original first take days. But now it's just like I understand what he's trying to do. He's trying to be in the headlines, so it pumps up his product. Like I get it, but still.
Are you gonna wrap this show up or not?
Dude, I thought we were having just a serious conversation.
No, we're not.
Oh, we're still doing the show?
Yes, please end it.
Wow. Oh, okay. I was like eating and everything. Not really, but all right, guys. Thanks for listening. We promise to be better next time.
Oh my god!
Please check us out at the Rollout Show if you haven't, vomited already by this point about how bad this show was. So, we're gonna get better. Promise. Thanks. Bye. This is episode 5. Hopefully the worst show we ever do. We out.